So today I would like to present the book is the name The Hate You Give because it reflects important social issues such as racism and police violence, which are things we can encounter in real life. Moreover, this book encourages critical thinking and provides an opportunity for us to discuss justice and human rights. Most importantly, the characters and story are easy to understand as well. So, the book was written by Angie Thomas and was published on February 28, 2017. Angie Thomas was inspired to write The Hate You Give after witnessing a friend being shot by police. She wants to address the impact of racism and police violence on young life. The book draws from her own experience growing up in a neighborhood affected by this issue, aiming to give a voice to those often silent. Thomas hopes to inspire leaders to stand up for justice and understand the importance of their own voice. The synopsis of this book is tell about 16-year-old Star Carter moves between two worlds, the poor neighborhood where she lives and the fancy suburban prep school she attends. The uneasy balance between these worlds is shattered when Star witnessed the fatal shooting of her childhood best friend, Khalil, at the hands of a police officer. Khalil was unarmed. Soon afterward, his death is a national headline. Some are calling him a thug, maybe even a drug dealer and a gangbanger. Protesters are taking to the streets in Khalil's name. Some cops and the local drug lord try to intimidate Star and her family. What everyone wants to know is what really went down that night, and the only person alive who can answer that is Star. But what Star does or does not say could open her community. It could also endanger her life. There are three contemporary themes in this book. The first one is identity and multiculturalism. In the novel Star Carter, the main character is a black teenager trying to balance life between two different environments. Her primary black, low-income neighborhood and her mostly white, wealthy private school. She faced challenges in blending these parts of her identity and feels the pressure of fitting into both worlds. The story delves into how race, culture, and class influence her sense of self, and we see her grow more self-aware as the novel unfolds. For example, Star faces a cultural disconnect between her two worlds. At school, she feels out of place and struggles to relate to her classmates' experience and concerns, which often seem trivial compared to the harsh realities she faced in her neighborhood. Conversely, in the Garden High, she sometimes feels alienated from her friends and family because of her experience and perspectives gained from attending a predominantly white school. The second is political and social issue. One of the novel's central themes is police brutality, systemic racism, and the Black Lives Matter movement. It examines how these social injustices impact both individuals and entire communities. The story emphasizes the significance of activism, shedding light on the far-reaching effects of racial discrimination and the urgent need for social change. For example, Khalil is shot by a police officer during a traffic stop, and this act of police brutality serves as the spark for the novel examination of systemic racism and injustice. The event becomes a representation of the larger issue of racial discrimination and police violence that marginalized communities often face. And another example, after Khalil's death, the community comes together to protest demanding justice. These protests, which are vividly portrayed in the novel, mirror the real-life Black Lives Matter movement and emphasize the shared fight against police brutality and racial inequality. Star participation in the protest highlights the strength of activism and the influence of collective efforts in the driving change. The last one is mental health and physiological complexity. While mental health is not the main focus, the novel subtly addresses it through Star's emotional and physiological struggles after witnessing the police shooting of her friend, Khalil. Star grapples with fear, guilt, anger, and helplessness as she processes the event, and the story explores the mental impact of living in a community affected by violence and oppression. When Star experiences vivid nightmares and flashbacks about Khalil's death, this reflects her deep emotional trauma and ongoing distress. For example, she has trouble sleeping and is haunted by the memory of witnessing Khalil being shot, which contribute to her anxiety and fear. So, the next is about narrative techniques. There is 5 narrative techniques. The first one is first-person narration. The novel is narrated from the first-person perspective of Star Carter, the 16-year-old protagonist. This allows readers to experience the events and emotions directly through her eyes, making the story more personal and immediate. Star's voice is authentic, relatable, and deeply insightful, which helps readers connect with her experience and understand her internal struggles. The next one is realistic dialogue. Angie Thomas used dialogue that reflects the authentic speech patterns of the characters, particularly those in Star community. This adds to the realism of the novel, making the characters and their relationship feel genuine. The dialogue also effectively conveys the cultural and social environment of the characters. And about the social commentary, the novel incorporates social commentary on issues such as racism, police brutality, and the Black Lives Matter movement. Through Star's experience, the book examines the impact of systemic racism on African American communities and the ways in which individuals navigate this challenge. The story is not just about Star's personal journey but also serves as the critique of broader societal issues. And the next is about duality and code switching. Star navigates through different worlds, the predominantly black neighborhood where she lives and the predominantly white private school she attends. The novel explores how she has to code switch or adjust her behavior and language, depending on her environment. This duality highlights the pressures faced by people of color in predominantly white space and the complexity of identity. The last one is inner conflict. Star's internal conflict is a central focus of the novel. She struggles with her identity, her feelings of guilt over Khalil's death, and her fear of speaking out. This inner trauma is depicted through her thoughts and reflections, giving readers a deep understanding of her emotional state and the challenge she faced in deciding how to act. And this is the reference that I'm searching for the information. So thank you for your attention.